So guys, welcome to another gardening video on my channel. Today we're going to be giving you 7 tips on how to get your winter garden thriving right now. Okay, it may be cold, but that doesn't stop us from growing. Okay, all right, I hope you enjoy. I hope it's helpful. Like, subscribe, and let's go straight into the video. Okay, so the first tip, and I think this one really plays a major part, since it is very cold, one thing that you should consider is choosing a very sunny spot in your garden, right? So at least you give the garden the best chance of a warm environment, right? So as you can see in my garden, in the morning it gets the most amount of sun, from basically, let's say, maybe from 6 to 7. That's when it starts getting until maybe 3 p.m. Yeah, so from 6 till 3 p.m. it's getting a lot of sun. It's inside the sun. Let me actually, so especially this side, so this side actually, once the sun starts getting around maybe 12 p.m, then this side actually gets a lot, then it gets more shade, which is not really ideal because you want it to be throughout the day. However, on this side it actually gets more sun, so at 12 it would still get the sun, and this one drops around maybe 3, then that's when it would drop around the sun. So what I would always recommend is that pick a spot where it gets optimal sun, where it gets optimal sun, so 6 to 8 hours of sun, where you know that for sure you're gonna get 6 to 8 hours of the sun. It just helps with the actual winter, because obviously it's cold throughout the days, but the sun will help in actually keeping the soil warm, and also the crops as well. So most important, get the sun location right, and that will really help in terms of the success of your plant. So the second tip is now based around still keeping the garden warm, right? And this way is creating basically raised beds, right? See here, we don't have raised beds. If I had known, I would actually put raised beds, but I'll give you another tip that actually compensates if you have a garden like mine. But if you are still starting and you want to have a winter garden, get a raised bed. Okay, the raised bed, and I'm showing you the seed starting pots because this is basically elevated, right? So it helps keep the soil warmer. As you can see now, it's raised on this platform, and as I'm touching this is actually pretty warm as it is, and now this will warm up the soil. So this will help if you have if you live in an area that is prone to frost. This will really help to have a raised bed, or if you want to start your crops in raised starting pots, just basically elevate it so that it's protected from the frost, and also it keeps the soil warmer, and also helps with keeping the roots of the plants a lot warmer having raised beds. Okay, so yeah, if you're starting the winter garden, make sure that you have some raised beds, if you can do that, or even pots. You see, pots also really help. Having some pots also, that will really work well. If you don't know what a raised bed is, basically it would be just, so you get wooden planks and then you basically fill that with soil, just a lot of amount of soil, and basically you'll have it maybe as tall as these stumps, and then you put some soil in there, put a lot of soil, and then you plant in there. Then moving to the third tip, and this is probably the most important tip: grow cold hardy crops. You don't want to be growing some tomatoes right now. You don't want to be growing watermelon. What you want to be doing is growing the cold hardy crops, the crops that can withstand the cold and like to actually be grown in this environment. So here we have some kale. You can even have some spinaches. The spinaches are not doing too well, but you can grow some spinaches. Let me show you these ones. So at least the spinaches, spinach is a great one to be growing in Joburg as well, especially And if you have some frost, it would be really good if you had some spinach. I'm even starting some in the trays as well. But definitely grow some winter hardy crops. I think the thing that most people get wrong is that we try to grow crops that don't really do well in the winter, and then we get disappointed, and then we think that we can't grow crops at all. It's just that we need to change the types of crops that we grow. So here you even have some peas, and they're doing so well. Okay, like you can even see here, we have some little nanas that are popping up. So definitely, like you can definitely grow crops in the winter season. It just depends on which crops that you are growing, right? So just make sure that you're growing the correct crops. And I made a video for this, so check it out, okay? don't fraternize, okay? But yeah, definitely just grow the cold hardy crops and you won't be disappointed. I also have to show you that the radish, oh my goodness, the radish has started growing. That's another crop that you should be growing in winter. The radish has started to pop up. Carrot is also another one that you can grow in winter. And as a disclaimer, right, the crops do take a lot longer to grow as it compared if it was in summer or spring. They do take a lot longer to actually germinate and grow, just because it is a colder season. However, they will grow. So just add maybe another week or two to the germination and you should be fine. Don't give up too early, huh? Yeah. Okay, good. So the fourth tip is mulch, okay? And here we have some bark mulch, and this is really good in keeping the soil warm, okay? So as the sun, you see now the sun is out, it's shining. So now as this this is shining on in the garden, the wood chips or the bark mulch, this will retain that heat and also protect the soil, right? So when when the sun is not actually there, then at least the bark mulch will still retain some of that heat and it can warm up the soil. All right, the bark mulch also helps with other conditions, so other weather conditions. So when it gets really windy, these will really help in keeping the soil the soil structure. So it will help in keeping the soil structure so that everything is not blown away and things like that, right? And you can see even here in this one really, like, the bark mulch, I think, has done a really good job in keeping the soil happy. You can see that these guys are really doing well. They're loving how warm, I guess, the soil is, and it doesn't really affect them too much that it's come to this cooler season. But now the bark mulch has helped in terms of retaining some of that heat when it gets too cold. Okay, even when you have old marigolds, you see, like, the marigolds start dying at this point. So having marigolds, taking them out in the garden and then basically placing them and having them as another mulch. So this one, basically on this bed, you can see there's a lot of old marigolds. So this one, I just need to basically spread it out. Obviously there's other crops that are growing here, but basically I can just spread this out, and this can be added as another source of mulch. And I just need to, like, come in and press it down, just basically crush everything. Yeah, you see, just so that there's another added source of coverage, for this area. And it will basically also add as compost, so we'll also add as compost. This will also feed nutrients back into the garden. So like, look now, now it has literally a cover for the soil. Now you know that it's warm, and this can be used when you want to just keep the soil warm and protected and add nutrients for the next season. Okay, so yeah, definitely Also, disclaimer with the marigold, just be careful with the seeds, because this one will spread and they will keep growing and growing and growing. Staying on the same area, basically here you can see right here I grew some what's this? I grew some corn in the springtime, right? So this was my corn area. We also had some brassicas also growing here. So basically now, you see, now in the winter time I can't really grow corn. Brassicas I can, but certain types of brassicas. So here basically I'm just going to let the soil rest, right, for this crop, and I'll prepare it for the corn for the next season, right? So basically another important advice is also, if you want to not let the soil rest, you can plant other crops such as radish, such as carrots, things that also will like fix the nitrogen, such as the peas, the beans as well. And basically then for the next season, you know that those nitrogen modules, you know, those nitrogen characteristics will still be in the garden for this, for the spring season. Okay, so here for me also, yeah, so another tip is that you also can't just let the ground rest, and this is what I'm going to do for this crop here. I'm going to let it rest. I'm just going to cover it with some mulch and basically just keep it bare, but obviously covering it with some nutrients, so that for the next season we have that the soil is not depleted and it has the best chance of having like a thriving production for the next season. So those are the two tips that you can do for like to basically either protect the soil, or you could plant different crops in here, and that will also add more nutrients to the next season crops. All right, next tip, and this ties in with all of the tips that I've said, basically try and enrich your soil in this period, right? Try and add as much compost. So try and enrich your crops at this moment. And obviously we have the luxury of time at this point, so you don't have to basically have like an instant enrichment. You can literally just have it grow, build over time or over the winter period. So definitely in this period, as I said, all these tips, they will all cumulate into enriching your soil, so that for the next season you have still a nice nutritious soil that you can plant all of your spring and summer crops into. And then besides enriching the soil, also protect the soil. So if you're in an area where you experience frost, like Benoni, definitely trying to have some frost cover. That will really help. And this could be like maybe just like some plastic wrap type of thing, so that you actually just protecting the garden. And also you see stuff like this, you know, having mulch, having bulk mulch, just basically something that will protect and add some heat to the garden. That will really help in keeping the soil nourished, and also that you'll also be able to grow in this environment. Yeah guys, so that will be the end of the video. I hope it was helpful. I hope you did enjoy. And if you have more tips, please put it in the comments. Let's share it with everybody. Okay, let's share with everybody. Let's have our gardens successful. Let's have our winter gardens, you know, thriving and growing. You know, this is the time where basically we can still continue to grow, but also we can continue to nourish our gardens, right? So please, let's help each other. Put it in the comments, like, subscribe, become a member. I love you guys all. Love, peace, and grow every single day.